Hi everyone, welcome to the Leaf Heart Path. I want to welcome those of you who are new to my channel. My name is Andrea Graham. I am an intuitive healer, a Reiki and cord cutting practitioner, and tarot card reader. In the spirit of Valentine's Day, I thought I'd do another reading on love. So today's reading is a letter from your soulmate and messages and insight about your general relationship and its potential outcome. It is my belief that we have many soulmates in our lifetime, and this reading will give you some insight into a possible connection with one of yours. I'm going to start each reading with a channeled letter from your soulmate, and we'll dig into the letter's meaning and any extra messages that may come through with it. Next, we'll examine some oracle cards to get a better grasp on the energies of the relationship. We'll dive into your tarot reading at that point to see how things are playing out. Each reading also includes a past life section, which examines past life energies and how they may impact your relationship and your life in general, and then any advice associated with that which comes through. And finally, we'll get a feel for a general outcome of this relationship. I'm excited to get started. So if you haven't yet, take a moment to center yourself, take a deep breath, and cast your gaze over the envelopes that you see here. Group 1's pile is going to be this letter here with the pink heart. Group 2's pile is marked with this yellow heart. Group 3, you have the envelope with the green heart, and group 4, this is yours with the red heart. You can pause the video should you need a bit more time to choose. Timestamps and chapters are listed below. I'll see you in your video. Hi, group 1. Welcome to your message from your soulmate's higher self. If you picked the pink heart envelope, then you're in the right place. Now, before we get started, I just want to talk about soulmates a little bit. I am a firm believer that the term soulmate is really referring to anyone in your soul family. That can mean a lover, a close friend, a family member, child, or even someone who's watching over you as a spirit guide during this lifetime. This individual may be someone you are already with, someone you know, or someone you haven't yet met. This letter is from their spirit, their soul, their higher self. It may sound a bit like their 3D self mixed in with some words or phrases that sound a bit unique, as channeled messages from spirit tend to sound a little different. They sound a little loftier sometimes when they come through, but not always. In this reading today, I'm going to share the letter that was channeled from this Divine Counterpart for you. And you'll hear me switch language. I'll say soulmate, your person, Divine Counterpart. We're going to look at the general energy and situation that's coming through surrounding your connection. We will look at any past life energies that may be at play, and finally messages or advice for going forward. And I'd like to start by looking at your person's letter. Now, this came through in such a reverent way. I could feel the person looking at you. They were searching your face, your eyes, and they feel like they have you on a pedestal, that you are in a place that they can't quite reach. It feels untouchable. And it definitely was probably more of a romantic partner, but there are elements that could be that of like the love between a parent and child in some circumstances. So again, take what resonates for you and leave the rest. And that untouchable quality, it made me feel like that you were something to be unlocked, that there was a bit of a key. They want that key, they want access, they want in. And the English language that came through felt a little awkward to me. This person feels intelligent, and the words came out in a way, it just like it felt jumbled. So it could be that you make them feel jumbly, a little distracted, and they have a hard time expressing themselves to you in the way that they would like. But it also could mean for some of you that there is some kind of difference in native language, or you guys are from different places, different cultures, different lifestyles, or just different worlds. So let's dive into the letter. Pink heart, pink paper. And we're just gonna set that over there. Now, I will tell you, when I channel, my writing is really messy, so I went back through and rewrote. Still not necessarily very neat. Okay, so hopefully you can see some of this. And if you need to do like a little screenshot, you can pause the video to do so. Okay, it says, Dear one, hello, you are so beautiful. I don't think I tell you how I marvel at your ethereal looks, the way you flit and fly between worlds, holding secrets in your gaze. You are something truly magical and have changed my life in all the right ways. Please pay no attention to the haters. They don't see what I see. I'm a different person with you, and you make me better in so many ways. I wonder what you think when you see me. Do you joyfully and willingly take my hand? Love is a miracle, and you are the flow I crave. Each flower is your face, your image. I love you. Please be with me always. Yours. And then I did a little X for the signature there, because that could be anybody. So I'm just going to put this down. Let's talk about this a little bit. So there's a lot to break down here. And I think the way I was reading it was not the way it was coming through initially. There was just this total surprise to me as I was channeling it. And I was kind of thinking, I read it like it's sort of lovey-dovey, but that's not what I was kind of feeling. I was expecting it to even be more cheesy, I think, or generic, but because this is the first time I've tried it this way. But this was pretty specific. And the thing is, with some of these phrases, like don't pay attention to the haters, and the earnestness that's coming through here, like trying to get your attention, it doesn't seem like easy street necessarily. And I was surprised at that word haters, which came out, especially after these first phrases about ethereal looks and flitting and that kind of thing. But I think it says so much about the author. It does kind of feel like a younger energy to me, but an old soul. Again, though, this is a general reading, so that's not going to resonate for everybody. So you and this person may have come across some kind of issue with others around you, giving you issues about your relationship. Or this may happen if you don't know them yet. And depending on who you are, this could be for a variety of reasons. Or it could be your own fears or mental projections surrounding the relationship, or just being public with it. The letter feels real to me. It feels relatable. We've all had those moments in our relationships over the years that are beautiful, and other moments that aren't so great. It's life. And nothing's ever going to be smooth sailing. What's the phrase? Like, calm seas never made for a skilled sailor. I always say that wrong. I hope that's right. So that's what this feels like. It feels real to me. And this does have a wanting, needing, and pleading kind of energy. And in fact, when I was channeling, what came through is I heard that Sam Smith song. I think, is that right? Stay With Me. It's not a new song. It was quite popular a while ago. This song talks about waking up from a one-night stand and longing for that something more, even if things aren't quite right and not in alignment. And so that might be a song that you want to take a look at. I'll see if I can remember to link that in the box below. It could be that you met this person or will meet this person this way, or this person has that longing and pining kind of energy for you. And there may have been a disconnect here, or perhaps the two of you, again, are just from very, very different worlds, yet there is this craving to be seen, and to be equal, and to have access to your heart. Now, obviously, this person feels like you inspire them. They see you everywhere. They see you in every flower. They want to know your innermost self. And for some of you, I just get the feeling like I saw someone searching what would be your eyes. And so there may be walls up. You may have some walls up right now. You may keep yourself at arm's length from other people at the moment, or at the moment of this writing. Or you may have your own things to work out that you just aren't ready to share yet. And it seems like this person is just begging for answers. Do you feel joy with them? Will you walk with them? Out in the open, will you take their hand? Will you move forward for them? And so for some of you, this may be about having to make a decision. Are you staying with this person or not? And if you're already in a relationship and you're noticing these types of dynamics, please make sure that you're safe if you feel this is some kind of controlling situation, because we don't want that. And I don't advocate for people to stay in relationships where there is an imbalance power dynamic, something that's off completely or unsafe or could be controlling or emotionally abusive. So this is not what I'm speaking to. Now, of course, if it's a little different, maybe you're into a little, like, I don't know, what do they call it, BDSM or Dom and Sub, and that might be your thing. That's going to be a little bit different, if you're involved with like a supportive person. And actually what's popping into my head right now is that, what was that movie with Maggie Gyllenhaal, and James Spader, Secretary? Yeah, that one. And again, this can be in general just about this. We're just gonna move on from that. This can be about a loving partner who is trying to understand their person better. Begging to be let in. So if you're sorting through tough emotions, you're going through a loss, you're trying to make sense of a big change, I do feel this letter really reflects your person trying to make that breakthrough to you. It's kind of a, come back to me, come home to me kind of a feeling. And so this was really interesting. And I'd be curious to know, what aspects of this are resonating for you. And we're just going to tuck this up over here. Is that going to stay? I'm going to move the envelope. Okay. And we're going to begin with some of your oracle messages to gain a better understanding of the relationship. And so I have really been using these a lot recently. Hopefully that's in focus. This is the Storm. We also have, I think it's Cuprite. Is how you say that? We're gonna move this back because I know I'm gonna run out of space. And Surrender to the Sweetness. Okay. So I think that at the time that this energy is coming from this letter, you may have been or will be navigating some stormy seas, because the storm energy is literally about that. I mean, we have this lightning bolt right here. It's like the tarot card, the Tower, to me. It's about surrendering to something bigger than us and allowing what we once held as truth, as fact, as solid, to be completely wiped away. It always takes some time to get back on your feet again when we have these Tower or Storm moments, to regain equilibrium, but take your time. Don't mind me, there's just animal hair here. Do what needs to be done. Yeah, the appearance of this card here to me speaks to you going through a transition or some kind of growth period. While either with this person or they're part of the process and it's how you two meet. And their letter speaks to this distance that they are feeling with you, this removed quality, the way that you're in one world and then you're in their world at the same time. And they want you to be present with them, to take their hand, to be grounded, to be in the moment, to be with them as you are working through and processing whatever this storm moment is. And if you are already with this person, then you likely know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. And again, I think it's Cuprite. It's the stone about deep healing. We have this idea of rites of passage here, which completely ties into the Storm card. It's about being present, being deeply grounded, and feeling those feelings, sitting with pain, processing anything you need to process. And there's wisdom in knowing that this is a rite of passage. It is a time period in which you are experiencing this, and to honor that moment. Beyond this period is the opportunity for rebirth, reestablishment, and that new foundation as you work through things and create your new normal. Now, it doesn't mean it's easy. And a big hug to you for those of you who are going through tough times right now. Cuprite is a stone that can help you weather these changes and this period of growth. It may be a crystal that you want to do a little research on. This card really talks about your person being there with you as you work through this. But also the recognition that even if you were both going through some change or rite of passage together, you still won't experience it exactly the same way. This is a reminder to honor that, to honor one another, and know that your person will be there for you. So take their hand when you're ready to. And Cuprite is, I looked it up, it's not totally expensive. For people that are interested. And you can even just use this. I don't know if I can make the camera just focus on this. You could look this up, look up another image, or just take a screenshot of this, and you can even meditate on the energy of the card because it's contained within the photo. So that is a way you can get around purchasing. Yeah, okay, so we were talking about surrendering and kind of like taking your person's hand. And here we have that over here. The idea of surrender is just so important. Surrendering to what's bigger than us, allowing change in, even if we don't want it. And that's where this surrender to the sweetness comes in. It's about finding those sweet spots where you can, allowing joy in when and where you find it. And perhaps your person that wrote this letter is your joy. You know, your sweet spot, or they're reminding you to find it, to take their hands, you know, find it with them. And there's this balance to this with the cuprite, right? Because we have divine feminine energy in cuprite, and this here, the surrender to the sweetness, is Venus energy. Okay, cuprite deals with the sacred feminine and shadow work. And the surrender to the sweetness, again, is this Venus energy. It's joy, it's love, it's light. We have those like really bright, happy colors, those pastels. And it's really striking, this balance, you know, when and where you're able to. And I don't know, on this card here, I never even noticed this right here. There's someone in the water and then there's somebody on the shore, and there's a distance between them. And so this could be you on the shore, it could be you in the water, and your person's separated just on the opposite place. This might indicate there is a bit of a long distance thing going on between you and your counterpart for a while. For some of you, it might be how you meet, you know, that kind of thing. But you make the time to come together and engage in enjoyable activities. Maybe it's you're like an outside person, hiking, swimming, spending time in nature, sex, you know, whatever. All right, so let's take a look at the situation a bit more. I want to look at some future outcomes. We're working with Mystic Mondays Tarot for you guys, and we have the Two of Swords. You know what, I'm gonna have a lot more cards. So let's, I'm not sure how many I have now. Okay, we'll see. We have the Eight of Cups. And we have the Empress. We will start with these three. We can add things in if we need to. Okay, so coming out of the storm experience, you'll be walking out feeling like everything's a little bit off, that the sun is shining too brightly. Your clothes that used to fit don't fit right. You know, things are irritating you. Things have moved on, and yet they have stayed the same, you know, inside of you, in your heart. You know, and honestly, when people experience loss or grief, that it can feel a lot like that. It's just everything's very raw, it's very bright, it's very new. And with this Two of Swords, you are seeing who you are becoming in this energy. You are the butterfly who's just coming out of the cocoon. You are integrating. You aren't just moving on autopilot, but opening your eyes and starting to reintegrate these senses. Everything is very fresh here. And this period may take some time, but you do regain footing and you become more yourself. You've stepped into your power, as we see over here with the Empress. Now, between this raw period and this newness with the Two of Swords, and the immense glow that's happening over here, there is this period of reflection and introspection. And this isn't the processing energy of the storm. It's interesting how these two are overlaid on each other. This is a little more you integrating into the world. This is you realizing that your view has changed. Notice the perspective on this. That seems like I want to bring that up. That's important. Yeah, things are different now, and what used to please you and serve you may not any longer. And as you discover more about yourself, you walk down this road of learning, you take in the sights, you see what makes you happy, what doesn't, what's in alignment with who you are now and what isn't. And at some point along here, you're there, you've arrived. You're in the Empress energy, you wind up in it. It may happen in a way that you don't realize it. And this is how your person sees you. They see you as beautiful, in touch with themselves, someone who can enjoy the simple pleasures, and somebody who's grounded in love. Yeah. And actually, I know the person kind of witnesses you going through some things, but this might be the juncture where they actually like meet you or first realize like, oh my gosh, I totally adore this person. They may meet you at the juncture of the Eight of Cups and the Empress. Yeah. The Empress is a card that is ruled by Venus, and we've already been talking about Venus, divine feminine energy with a cuprite. Both of these cards do have some parallels. The Venus, the surrender to the sweetness, and the Empress. They both celebrate love and joy and pleasure. The Empress embodies some creativity, divine femininity. I mean, we're relaxed here. It's not this, it's definitely not the same chaotic energy that you get of the storm. The Empress is about nourishing yourself so that nourishment spreads outward to others. It's about throwing yourself into doing things that you love. And that is absolutely how your soulmate, your divine counterpart, your person sees you. Do you remember how they said in this letter that they saw you in your face in every flower? They really do elevate you. This person, this Empress, has the same status. You'll be able to tell who this person is just by the energy that they exude. And when I say this person, I mean your counterpart. And if you already are with them, you know exactly what is in their heart space. They make that abundantly clear. They're very transparent. They may be a little fearful at times to speak out, I think, but I think overall, I think they wear their heart on their sleeve. So long story short, you're going to be moving out of any separation we talked about. Remember I said it's possible that this could be a long distance relationship to start for some of you. And then also we talked in the letter about the distance between you, the distance in your eyes being walled up a little bit, perhaps going through the storm energy and weathering that and kind of finding your space. You're going to be moving out of that. Any turmoil that we were, picking up on. You come back to earth, you're grounded in your power, you're wearing your crown, maybe it's a pineapple. And the two of you will be stronger having gone through this together. And we also have the star, which is hope. And I mean, that's quite literally the way I take it anyway. It's a nice little keyword there. It's pretty simplistic, but it's pretty nice. It's beautiful. This is something you can both look forward to together, kind of forging this path. You're not going that road yourself. You're pulling somebody else in there with you. Now I'd like to look at past life energies that might be at play here for you guys. So we're going to use some past life cards for this. We have health. That's interesting. Okay, hopefully you got that. If not, the camera should be able to pick that up pretty well. And we have the devil. Interesting. This has to be one of my favorite renditions of the Chariot. They're just, woo, everything's great. Okay, interesting. So, whenever health pops up, this can imply that the sitter, you, have healing capabilities. Whether you do that in real life as an occupation, like you're nursing, you're a paramedic, you're a caretaker, doctor, energy worker, dentist, therapist, like you name it. There's some level of caring, honestly, in most profession. Or you may not engage in a standard healing profession. It's just that your energy has a natural healing bend to it, a quality to it. Some of you may be kind of balking at this, kind of throwing your hands up. But, side story, when I was first opening up, I would repeatedly hear in readings that I was a healer, and I too would balk at that. Like, no way. And part of that was I didn't want to feel responsible for other people's health, well-being, or anything of that nature because it felt too big, like it's too much, and I didn't think I was up to the challenge, never mind the fact that I ended up teaching school for 16 years, and I still get letters from students who remember how I made them feel. I totally ignored that piece of the puzzle. I remember sitting in a coffee shop. This is turning into a little bit more of a story. But I'm in this coffee shop outside Cleveland, Ohio, and I was sitting with a psychic and tarot reader who told me I was healing him during the reading just by sitting and listening. And I remember at the time, I also got incredibly annoyed because this person spent a long time talking about themselves, which is what I'm doing right now, and their problems. I'm not talking to you about my problems though. It was a lesson in boundaries. I should have spoken up, but instead I learned that sometimes this seed or this kernel of healing is inside of us. It exists, this possibility to help others, whether we want it or not, whether we want to hear that or not, whether we know it or not. And that comes about from a lot of different reasons. It can be because of our upbringing, our childhood experiences, because of trauma, or because we have something that has come from one life into this one. Now, I should mention that healers often struggle with their own physical or mental ailments too. You know, have you heard the phrase the wounded healer before? That's one that gets tossed around a lot. That's people who have integrated their own life experiences into their being and in turn often make absolutely magnificent healers themselves. You may be someone who has had your fair share of health ailments. Your storm moment may actually be in relationship to this as well. Just as a little relation here, I had my own dark night of the soul when I had to come to terms with losing mobility at age 32 to an autoimmune disease that left me walking with a cane for a year and a half. And so the health card could be related to your storm situation that we see here as well. You may have had health ailments your entire life. This can have its roots in a past life. You often hear about people who have a unique mark, a birthmark, pain in an area of their body. And when they have a past life regression session, it turns out that they were actually wounded in that particular spot, you know, like back of the head, or there's something in the side. It's possible this card here, it's here to reflect on how health may have impacted you in a past life. And it's possible you didn't get a chance for things to completely play out in the past, which has in turn impacted you and where you are today in terms of your health or healing abilities. And the Devil card speaks about being chained to old habits, patterns, addictions, and perhaps in this instance being chained back to a prior life experience that impacted your health and healing, which may have repercussions today. It may explain some things for you that you are now experiencing. And the Chariot card here is showing a new mastery, moving forward, joy, freedom, moving away and leaving the past behind. I don't know if you noticed, we have the sand dunes here, references to Egypt. And with a stony looking snake here, you know, it's kind of like a modified caduceus. It's possible that you have some ties back to a prior life in Egypt, which I feel like a lot of people say is like highly generic, but it's a thing. And it might be something that you want to look into because this is popping up in the context of this reading. I get the feeling that your person was also incarnated with you at this time. And it might be interesting to do some digging, to look into this past life regression session if that's something you're interested in. And again, this whole thing, like I was sharing with you about the autoimmune disease, this could be your storm moment. You know, this could be referring to that and what kind of what's going on in your life with right there. You know, and with this Chariot card, it's a lot like the Star card. It looks like they're almost going up to that. It's letting me know that like the Star card, we have hope and joy and happiness beyond any heavier moments that you might be experiencing right now. And just a really beautiful outcome and a chance to learn more about yourself. So advice going forward. We're going to look at our last little pull here with some oracle cards. So we have got... I'm trying to put that in focus. May not be able to. That's okay. When I surrender my will to the care of spirit and the universe, I attune my energy with an ever-present stream of well-being. We have, I am becoming consciously aware of my inner being. We're going to toss in the Eight of Pentacles with that. This is one of my favorite renditions of that. I now hold the key to creating my every desire. We have one more we'll add in just a minute. Okay, so these first two cards here are about you getting those wings. You know, and earlier back I talked about the butterfly. You know, you becoming more aware of your connection to all things is what's happening here. Stepping more into who you are truly meant to be. The universe and your guides are encouraging this. And with the Eight of Pentacles here, Yeah. And I now hold the key to creating my every desire. This shows us that as you focus on your passions and explore more of who you are, you will become more magnetic, like our Empress card back here. You're going to become more you. And this will in turn bring you and your divine counterpart or soulmate closer together. And as I'm saying this, I'm getting them thinking about you, and they're feeling pride. Like they have this front row seat to this journey and this change. And they are so very proud of you, group one. They love you very much, and they only want what's best for you. This makes me want to bring in this. Our last card here. The Warrior. There we go. Okay. That's your person. This is someone that, despite the haters they talked about in their letter, that means well for you. They are there to lift you up and be your warrior, your champion, your advocate. They have a mental clarity and a line of insight that makes them a beautiful companion and ally. And you two will forge a beautiful relationship and many happy experiences together. I do think you guys are going to be a very powerful duo. All right, group one. That's what I have for you today. Thanks so much for being here. And if this resonated with you, please let me know what did in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any other videos. If you found this helpful, please check out some of my other pick a card readings and please pass them on to any friends who might find this channel beneficial or entertaining. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for being here with me today. Bye, group one. Hi, group two. Welcome to your message from your soulmate's higher self. If you picked the envelope with this yellow heart, then you are in the right place. So before we get into things, I want to talk a little bit about, what it means to think about that term soulmate. And I'm a firm believer that the term soulmate is really referring to anybody in your soul family. So that can mean a lover, a close friend, a family member, a child, or even someone who's watching over you as a spirit guide in this lifetime. This individual may be someone you are already with, someone you know, or someone you haven't met yet. This letter is from their spirit, their soul, their higher self, and while it may sound a bit like their 3D self, mixed in with some words or phrases that sound a bit unique, as channeled messages from spirit tend to sound a little bit different. In this reading today, I'm going to share the letter that was channeled from your divine counterpart. You'll also hear me use the word divine counterpart, soulmate, or your person interchangeably. We're going to look at the general energy and situation that is coming through surrounding your connection. We will take a look at any past life energies that may be at play as well. And finally, we will take a look at messages or advice for going forward. Your letter writer, I will say before we get into this, felt very strong, very confident, and very proud, group two. They came through in a very clear and direct manner. That's a lot of varies I just said there. This person felt reliable, they felt trustworthy, and like somebody you'd want to have a long-term partnership with. I could hear a distinct voice, someone who speaks from their heart and knows how to give a good pep talk when you need it. Let's get into your letter. Okay. Yellow heart, yellow paper. I did have this written when I channel and do automatic writing. It's really, really messy, and it's even illegible in some places, so I tried to rewrite it a little more neatly. Hopefully you can see that, and maybe take a screenshot if you need to. And then I'm going to put it down here. It says, "Dearest heart, I know that things haven't always been easy for you, and I want you to remember how much you mean to me. I have never met anyone like you, and I'm blessed to have you as a part of my life. You are my sunshine." Oh my gosh, I just realized, I'm so sorry, but I just realized I put this on yellow paper. I randomly had picked like paper and markers, and we've got the sunshine there. This is perfect. So, you are my sunshine, and your smiling face is the reason I get up in the morning. you've helped me grow in so many ways, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without you by my side. While you may not always see yourself in the kindest way, you are the sunshine in the lives of those you touch. I want you to see yourself from a new view. Radiance. Yours. And then we do a little X for how they sign, because again, this is from anybody. I just love that. That gave me the shivers when like the word radiance came in. It was so cool. All right. I'm going to tuck this up here. If it wants to stay, I don't know. No? Okay. You're going to go live over there. So this soulmate to me felt very to the point and like a steady and stable person to have around you. I really trusted them completely when they popped in. To me, they felt very genuine, very real, and very, very authentic. Yeah, that feels right. It does feel like, given the language about you being a blessing to them, that this letter is written from a time period when you two have been established already. So this may be 2 years, and the number 2 is popping out here, or who knows, 2 decades. Apply it as you will. And again, some of you may already know who this person is, and others of you haven't met this person yet. So in all likelihood, this is probably a romantic letter, I would think, but it's possible. It might not be. There may be parts that relate to some other kind of relationship. So the other thing that came out to me is they kind of talked about you having good days and bad days, days where you don't feel on top of the world. And I like this in a sense because it feels real to me, because life isn't always sunshine and rainbows, even though they're giving us a lot of sun here. Boop. Oh my gosh, that doesn't even want to stay at all. That's okay. I'm going to leave it alone. And I feel like this person sees you despite that, despite the sunshine, despite the rainbows, like, whether they're there or not. They see you, they get you. They know when you need that little cheering up. They know when you need words of support. Yeah. And we had those words sunshine, we had the word radiance, and some of you may actually already have that nickname, Sunshine or Sunny or something like that. You may have a sunny personality, or that might be a special nickname for you with your person. They may also call themselves blessed. Or no, they not may also, they did say that they were blessed to have you by their side. And to me, this really shows, again, we have more of like an equal partnership here. The last group, I didn't get that as much. There was more like kind of putting someone on a pedestal. This person is not doing that, and they're not putting themselves up there and looking down on you either. This really feels very balanced. To me, you guys, you're like peanut butter and jelly, right? You're good on your own, but you're even better together. And yeah, this, again, it's balanced, it's equal, and this person really has your best interest at heart. I honestly, when I was getting this message, I felt that I would want this person to have my back. They felt very, very trustworthy to me. Can you see I'm a little type A here? I want that to fit, and it doesn't want to, so it's just gonna sit there. Okay, I swear I'm really done talking or touching that. Okay, we are going to take a closer peek at your oracle messages here to gain a better understanding of the relationship, and you saw me laying some of these down, so we're starting with the offering card here. We have Opal and Joy and the 7-star sisters, which says Birthing Creations, Tapestry of Life, Expression. So these cards to me, when I got this, like there was just this feeling of sweetness to me. And I just wanted to sit in this. Like I wanted to bask in whatever you guys were putting off here, because I don't know. This is just, you're so good together. You are so, so good together. And you two might actually meet in the course of doing something greater for the world, your community, or it could be that acts of service may be a bedrock of your relationship, and in turn might be a love language for one or both of you. Because in this sweet spot I was feeling, there was this strong feeling of contentment and really just like a weaving or a connection to others. And they have that word, tapestry right there. And it just felt so beautiful to me. There was a rootedness in community and belonging. And So for some of you, you may be involved in activism or outreach or be highly involved with your church. I felt like religion will be important to members who are, of this particular group who landed on this video. And for others, church may not be a thing, religion may not be a thing, but you might find other ways to get involved and better your community or work through causes that are near and dear to your heart. And it feels very unifying. Yeah, because the offering card here, this to me really talks about, let me see if I can get that kind of focus. There we go. This talks about giving without any strings attached. See, there's nothing here. Here's my offering, take it, and there's nothing else that I need in return. Yeah. So it's giving and it's growing as a result of this. Nothing that you do, you two as a team, you as a person, like you are such good, solid people here, I feel like group 2. Nothing you do is dividing or would cause harm or throw shade at another human being. You two feel very grounded in caring for others and their humanness and shining that sunshine light that just radiates from within. Look at this, we even have like a little yellow rose. Boop, that can be yours. Okay. So with this, the 7 star sisters, this makes me feel this activism and giving as part of the tapestry of your life. It isn't something that you can unravel because it's just ingrained. It's part of you and who you are. You may actually work for a nonprofit, or you and your person may end up creating something that's beautiful together, with the support of others around you. This could be how you meet as well. Just, there's our 7 sisters, right? I think that you two are here to unify humankind in some way, shape, or form. Bring people together, make the world a better place, even if it is on a smaller scale than that. Scale doesn't matter. It's the heart that counts. It's the act, it's the intention and what follows. It doesn't need to be on a huge scale. It can be, as tiny as this rose, but it's still a beautiful thing, right? There's radiance in what you do, and that just shines outward to touch each and every single person in your life. And I think they even said that in the letter. And I feel that's part of the light that they are talking about. Opal, oh my gosh, this is, to me, I pulled this and I'm like, it looks so much like the background here, but I was so excited. This is my favorite stone because it has all the colors in it. It's every freaking color. And it's so beautiful. And it is such a radiant stone, which just describes you. It's amazing how these are created in nature. They are just absolutely stunning and a true reflection of your harmony, both in your relationship and how you work to unify and make things better in your community or for future generations. It's like we're bringing all the things together. It shows the joy, it shows the satisfaction you get from teamwork, from where you are in life, and how you can stay in the present moment. How and when you make an offering, a true sacrifice, I feel like the world is just bathed in this light, and it only causes your true colors to shine even more. All right, you are pretty awesome, group 2. I'm just going to say that. So I want to dig into your tarot now, and we'll be looking at some cards. These, normally I try to pull the same amount of cards per group, but these I think they're a little bit different. So we'll see what we have. We're looking at future outcome. So we have the Empress here. You know what, and I'm going to pull that up over there just in case. So Empress. Oh my gosh. I don't know, can you see the face, the facial expression on this? I don't know if you can. It is hilarious. His eyes are bugging out of his head. So that's the Page of Wands. All right, 8 of Wands. This is the last Unicorn Tarot, FYI. And what else do we have here? All right. Temperance. I had such a big pile, I didn't know where to cut that off. Okay, so this is you. You're the Empress. And again, when we do these readings, gender doesn't matter. If you see a character that looks more feminine, looks more masculine, they are who they are. Okay, and so this can be you, and it could be, you could identify as male, non-binary, it doesn't matter. But with the Empress, and I think the last group also had Empress cards, so if you felt pulled to that at all, you might want to check that out as well. This is you, just totally at home, doing your thing, shining your light by being you, not necessarily minding others or necessarily even looking for a partner. So I think this is actually about how you guys meet right here. Oh yeah. Yes. So this is your story a little bit here. And some of you might have decided at this juncture, like, I'm just doing my thing. Maybe you came out of something and you don't want to be dating right now. And so you're just doing your stuff. You're keeping your head down. And that's where this Page of Wands energy comes in. This person comes in and they're like, ooh, they see you and just their eyes are bugging out of their head. That's your person. It's like they see you and they can't get you out of their mind. You have literally stopped them in their tracks. And Wands tends to be a little fiery, a little sensual, so it's a little sexy energy there too. Yeah, and you're just, Empress is grounded and practical, also very fertile, so instant eyes on you, group 2. And this person is just ready to follow you anywhere, and we see that with the 8 of Wands because that's like fast. That is fast moving energy, right? That's you just I think initially you might be like, hey, you're the unicorn and you're giving a person the run for their money. Like maybe, you know, initially you might strike up a conversation and be like, oh, okay, maybe. And then you're kind of like, oh, nah, you know, not interested. So you might consider for a hot minute and then you are just like, never mind, I'm on my way. I'm just doing my thing. Like I have all these other animals I have to take care of here, these other people. And I think that makes this person just want to know you more, right? I can literally see them chasing you. This is like we're seeing from their viewpoint. Oh my gosh, they're getting away. And I could see them showing up, you know? And if this is like work, they might show up at work. And I'm not seeing that in a stalkery way. Again, I feel like your paths cross because of this work, this offering card, whatever it is that you're doing. They're going to be showing up anyway. You have captured their attention, you've captured their imagination, they love how you work, they love how passionate you are and what you do, your beliefs, and I think they can see a future with you. They're like, I can't let this person get away. So don't think about it in a creepy way. It's more like, oh my gosh, like, this is my person. I found my person. And I do feel like, though, that they have to work a little bit to be with you. We have the Temperance card here, and this could be them just, I'm going to sit down in this person's realm and I'm sitting here. This is the kitchen here. I'm peeling potatoes. I'm helping out, right? So it's possible you even are just like, okay, I'm going to be nice and invite you in to see what we're doing here. This is how things are working out. And they're just going to sit down. They're going to put their head down. They're going to cool it down because Temperance is a little more cooling. It's a little more even. We're kind of tempering down that fiery wand energy here. Yeah, they're peeling potatoes for whatever it is that you're cooking. So you guys may be actually working together in some way, and that doesn't mean professionally. It also could mean in some other way, like nonprofit or whatever. But there is just this balance, I think, that's struck, and it's from this place where you decide to let them in, but you're letting them in on your terms, group 2, and that can help build this firm foundation going forward. You know, you're cooking up something delicious and nutritious together. And it really is a recipe for kitchen magic here. It's a recipe for a beautiful relationship, I think, going forward. One where you two really complement one another. Yeah, and as they mentioned in their letter, they really are blessed to have you by their side. You two are better together, just like different flavors and dishes can complement one another and bring out the best in each other. There's patience, there's harmony here, and there's reflection. as you two move forward in your relationship. So it's just like, you're like, hey buddy, you need to cool your heels here for a minute, you know, and while I think about this. So this is on your terms. So let's jump into past life energy here, just to see if there's anything at play that might be impacting you or the relationship. Oops, sorry. Knocking things around. I don't know if we can get that. Okay. 4 of Cups. Don't worry, that's not. You're not that person. That's a sad man, if you know the story of the last unicorn. We have Persecution and Inquisition. That's pleasant. And we have more fire energy, the King of Wands. All right, let's talk about this. What is going on here, guys? All right, hopefully that's in focus. All right, so in a past life, you may have experienced persecution and possibly inquisition, gone through that. And the thought is here too that there may be a parallel. This may also, in some way, shape, or form, you may have dealt with persecution or inquisition as well in your current experiences. Okay. I do a lot of past life readings and in some of my healing work, and there often are very strong parallels between them. I can't get too technical because, again, this is a general reading. So this type of persecution, or I mean, it could be, you know, racism, sexism, whatever. It could be directly related to the causes that we talked about earlier, this offering. It could be things near and dear to your heart, and injustices of many kinds may get you riled up because of this. You know, in your letter, your person spoke about you not always seeing yourself kindly, which is this energy I'm getting over here with the 4 of Cups. Yeah. You may not be able to see what's good when you've got other worries and concerns and other pressing issues coming at you from all sides. There may be times where you lose yourself a little bit in what you do. Do you see, like, I mean, we've got both people like facing out. This is you, but it's like we're not integrated here. We're worrying about this, we're worrying about this, we're not seeing what's in front of us. And in this instance, this card to me is, this is one of our, I guess, kind of villains in the last unicorn, the Red Bull here. But he's just completely overpowering. You know, it destroys, fire can destroy everything it touches, and that's perfect for this as the King of Wands. You know, so this can represent whatever it is that you're worrying about. It's dominating all your mental real estate. It's a threat. And the king figure, again, can represent people in your current life who pop up and thwart whatever it is that you're doing. But they can also be that tie back to past life energy, right? The person or people who stood in your path or held you possibly prisoner or captive. The energy may come boiling up, seemingly from nowhere from time to time, and you may be mired in troubled thoughts. And again, some of this may be a holdover from a prior life, things that you are working out now that you didn't have a chance to finish, cycles, this long legacy and kind of cellular memory may be part of the reason why you're here to continue your journey of righting wrongs and creating that beautiful world, that beautiful tapestry we talked about for your future and the planet's children as well. Just know that your person sees you and they are here by your side and support you 100% of the way. You are not alone in this. You are beloved and you are radiant. Okay, so advice for going forward. Let's see what we get here. All right, directing my focus on what's thriving creates more of what I want. We don't want, that's not in the spiritual bypassing kind of way. Let's see here. When my desires and beliefs are a vibrational match. We've got a lot of flowers there, a lot of happy stuff. All right, let's talk about those two before I pull anything else out. I feel like these two cards are connected back to this past life energy that's at play, or that 4 of Cups that's right here. When we can't quite see the good in front of our eyes because our attention or mood is focused elsewhere. That's what can happen. And that's not to say that your concerns or worries aren't valid. They absolutely are. The appearance of these two cards, though, is just a reminder that you can set your thoughts back to a track that will help you create more of the change that you want to see in the world. Your thoughts are an energetic match to what you are creating, to what tapestry you're weaving, to what creations you are birthing into the world. And they're just saying, like, it's okay. Like, look at all, we had 4 cups there. You know, look at all of the cups. Look at everything that's in front of you. And your person wants you to kind of direct your attention there, because this is where all of that sunshine and that radiance lies. That's where all the potential is. All right. We also have the Fool. And that card is showing you can get a vibrational reset anytime you need it. Your person has come in, or they will come in and give you that fresh start, that reminder, like your love note about how important you are, what you give to others, the light you shine. In fact, look at the light behind him. I didn't even notice that before, but that would be like the sun. That's like you, you know? Yeah. Their presence is very, very grounding for you, group 2. They will give you that gentle nudge, that hug, and remind you of where you are at this particular moment, a reassurance. And I'm saying gentle nudge, and the Fool is all about like taking the proverbial leap off the cliff. So whether it's the kick in the butt that you might need here or there, or whether it's the comforting hug, they're going to be what you need. Okay. And this one is a little bit of a mouthful. It says, manifesting is the creative process of aligning with the energy of the universe to co-create an experience that elevates my spirit and the spirit of the world. That does tie in a lot with what we've been talking about, you know, just kind of in what you're doing. You know, that's the beauty that you two are building together. This is that energy of being that beautiful duo who is making their mark on the world, and together you are manifesting beautiful things and change for the better. You are elevating the spirit of the world. And we can even see this, like, the color that is here. There's so much beautiful color in your group here. I am just totally loving this. And our final card is the Mask. Look at, you know, more of that bright color. The Mask typically, as I recall, talks about roles we step into that empower us, or what we hide behind that suppresses who we actually are. So it can enhance and it can hide. It can mask. And to me, this is more about, you know, the picture that we're actually looking at. It perfectly illustrates what the two of you are doing together. You're bringing this light here to the darkness. You are unmasking and bringing to light truths that shine in their radiance, the radiance of your joy and your natural being. This is what you're building together. This is what you're creating, you know, for everybody. The sisters, the children that come after you, the planet. Yeah. All right. You are truly blessed, group 2. Shine on. That is what I have for you today, group 2. Thanks so much for being here. If this resonated with you, please let me know it did in the comments section below. Give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any other videos. If you found this helpful, check out some of my other pick-a-card readings, and please pass this on to any friends who might find this channel beneficial or entertaining. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, group 2. Hey, how are you, group 3? Welcome to your message from your soulmate's higher self. If you picked this green heart envelope, then you're in the right place. Now, before we get going, I want to talk a little bit about this term soulmate. So I'm a firm believer that soulmate really means anyone in your soul fam. That can mean a lover, which is what most people think, but it can also be a close friend, a family member, a child, even an acquaintance that you are getting to know a little bit better. I mean, that's how most of them start, right? It also could be somebody who's watching over you as a spirit guide during this lifetime. So that's a whole nother thing. This individual may be somebody you are already with, someone you're acquainted with, someone you know well, or somebody you haven't yet met. So this letter is from their spirit, their soul, their higher self. It may sound a little bit like their 3D self mixed in with some words or phrases that sound a bit unique, as channeled messages from spirit tend to sound different. In this reading today, I am going to share the letter that was channeled from this particular counterpart. You'll hear me say Divine Counterpart. You'll hear me say soulmate. You might also hear me say just your person. We're going to look at the general energy and situation that is coming through surrounding your connection, and we will take a look at any past life energies that may be at play, and finally messages or advice for going forward. So group 3, your letter is, I think, likely, definitely, from a group that falls in the romantic category. I felt an extreme fondness from this person, and it felt like their higher self was actually with me in the room giving me this hug. It was amazing, actually, as I got the words that were coming through. They had a bit of the butterfly situation happening in their stomachs. Not anything crazy, just this happy, content, and joyful feeling overlaid with a little enthusiasm and a little excitement. They really felt like they have known you for some time, maybe not even in the 3D. It's just the energy was almost like the way that a dog is when it comes up to greet you. It was all joy and just like pure tail wag. But it wasn't that in your face. It was more reserved. It was very chill. There was this chill vibe that was kind of overlaying everything. You know, it reminded me of somebody who is very present, someone who's in the moment. I do feel like you have this person's full focus when you are near. So with that, let's open this up. Green heart, green letter. I do usually write these when I'm channeling messages. I'll do them on other paper, and they are way, way too messy to be read. Sometimes parts are even completely illegible. And so I did rewrite this for you and me. Okay, so if you want to screenshot, hopefully that's in focus. And I just like how this one starts out, just, hey, I've missed you. I don't quite know how to do this. You are without a doubt one of the most fascinating people I've ever met. I've been thinking about you. You're just so out of reach. It's frightening, maddening, and I care about you more than you know. You're the only group that got underlined things, I think. Maybe not. Maybe the last one had a word. I don't know if I can say it out loud. Would you say something? Speak up. Notice me. We see each other as acquaintances. There we go. Friends. But I want so much more. When I'm with you, I feel like you get me in a way that seems impossible. I find myself always wanting more time with you. I want to be alone with you. I want you. Let's get together soon. You know where I am. Reach out. Hugs. And then I put a little X there at the bottom for your person's signature. So this is definitely a distinct voice compared to the other letters that we've had so far. I mean, they've all been different, but this is quite unique. So I feel like the first thing I want to talk about is just the time period and point of view from when this letter originated. So it would obviously be after you two have already met. It seems clear to me that you begin as acquaintances, as it says right here, which evolves into some kind of friendship. But it feels like at this stage, you and this person aren't super close in our 3D existence. But judging by the way they came in the 5D, your souls feel incredibly close. And that just was the thing that came across as this gorgeous feeling of comfort and just coming home. It was beautiful. And I really wanted to live in that hug that I felt. It was just so gorgeous. Again, this person has this easiness to them, a relaxed vibe. But I think when you're in view, they get some butterflies around you. And they clearly see you as somewhat removed, obviously, based off of the language. There's this distance. Were you in general maybe a bit, and I've said this in other things, I always use the word intimidating, but I think you're just apart, you're just on a different level. That's the way they're looking at it. it's like, here's this thing that I desire, but I have to cross this rope bridge over a canyon to get there. But I'm going to do it. I really want to. But in this case, they're wanting you to do the crossing, it looks like here. There's definitely this wanting for sure, and this is the most physical out of all the letters so far. They want to get to know you more and spend more time with you. It isn't just the physical, I think. I feel like they genuinely care about you. Just based off of, I know the words are one thing, but it was that feeling when they came in. I do think this person is a little intuitive. They may read energy. They may be an energy worker, or they're just really, really in tune with your energy. It's just, this was the first group I had where this person just stepped in immediately, and it was like I was getting this hug. So in all likelihood, you are also probably really in tune with their energy as well. You may be able to feel when they are around you before you even see them, if you're somebody who's clairsentient, or maybe one of your other intuitive senses, kind of speaks out in some way, or you hear something, you see something, some little hint that they're around. It's because your spirits recognize one another. They're definitely interested in taking things to the next level. And I always get super awkward and like blushy when I have to talk about this right here, which I shouldn't be, because I'm a grown woman, but it's a little awkward to talk about. But there is definitely some of that smexy energy that's right there. There's also something holding them back, though, and whether it's insecurity or there's something going on at this particular phase, like maybe there's somebody else, I don't know, in your life or in their life at this moment. Maybe there's distance between you guys. We'll look more into the cards here. It's just that it's interesting to me that they're asking you to make the move. Let's get together soon. No, let's get together soon. You know where I am. Reach out. Yeah. So there's this curiosity. There's this longing here. But what cracks me up is the way that they started the letter. Hey, and hugs. This person is definitely laid back. I really, really like the energy of this person here, group 3. So we'll take a look and see what happens. Let's see. Yep, that was just popping out last time. I'm just going to lay that right there in case we need to go back to it. All right, we are going to start by looking at some of your oracle messages to gain a better understanding of the relationship. So I think this is Hirith. I think it's a Welsh word. It says longing for home and homesick for the stars. I'll put you over there. And this is cool. The seed. It's like a little pearl. The center, and we have blue kyanite and letting go. Let me scooch that there. Okay. So, Hirith. All right. So homesickness. I had to look that up the first time I pulled that card. So I may not be saying that right. It doesn't have to be homesick for the stars either. It's just that I think a feeling of longing, especially for a place. So anyway, okay. This has a lot of layers to it, and I'm really excited about this card. The seed, it's just, to me, it's a labyrinth. You know, where's the beginning? Where's the end? And when I look at this, when I tune into it, this is where that word longing would come in for me. Your grit is what becomes the pearl here. So, group 3, you may actually meet your person because you're going through something. Something's gone down. Your grit. it might even be what brings you to this person. So maybe they are, like I talked about them being an energy worker or a healer of some kind, speaking of grit. And the pearl is the relationship that results from it, like the acquaintanceship, the friendship, the connection. The thing is, though, it feels like the closer one of you gets, that the further the other person moves away. To me, this really does feel like soulmate, soul family, someone you've been incarnated with before, who you are meant to cross paths with again. The blue kyanite that we have here may be a nod to allow things to unfold at their own pace. Like, don't have an agenda for this. Don't force things to bloom before their time. Don't pluck the fruit before it's ripened. It's not going to be good. And obviously this person has very deep longing, and I'm sure you will too. But there's just this element to me when I see this of things needing to grow still. I do think you have the same origin, though. I really do. But the time isn't quite right immediately, like not when you first meet them. Yeah, the grit needs to become a pearl. You need to give it time. There may be a period of growth on both your parts separately before you come together. And Hirith gives us the feeling of wanting to be with someone. In fact, actually, this might imply too that we had this distance we talked about, but there might actually be a distance between you, a physical distance between you initially. You might even meet this person, like if you're on vacation somewhere and they're on vacation, or maybe you go to the town where they live or they come to your town. And so there's this separation. It could be this place becomes a favorite destination, a happy memory, and that can play into that longing of a certain place. A longing not just for the person, but also for that time period and place. Yeah. And so because of this distance, we're talking not just physical, I think. The emotional connection's there and it wants to be deeper. But then there's also time on top of it, timing. And so this really does become a labyrinth then. Yeah, and even as I'm looking at this, when I went to put these down, I did swap them there, but part of me wants them this way. And then my clairsentience kicks in and says, no, put them back that way. To me, that shows a cycle of holding on and longing, and then also letting go. Clenching something tightly, letting go, back and forth, deeper we spiral around and around. So I think really that you two are very much in sync, group 3, but you're out of time and you're out of space. Clearly, your paths overlap, but there may be some time between this and any type of romantic union. So let's go a bit deeper with your tarot cards to see if we can get any kind of information or a possible outcome for you. So we've got the Two of Swords here. You know what? We're going to scooch that up a little. You guys have more cards here that popped out. We have got the King of Cups. The Fool. This also came through in pile 2. If you were drawn to that, you might want to check that one out as well. But I feel like the message is, this one is quite unique. Doesn't that look like I? Like the letter I, lowercase? We have the Knight of Swords. We're working with the Rust Belt Arcana here, which I love. The writing is phenomenal. There's the major arcana all have like an essay written about them in a separate book that you can get. It's just, the writing is wonderful. And we have Temperance. It's a bittern. Okay. Very nice. Oh my gosh. I have to learn to stop futzing with things and just let stuff be. But there's that part of me that's a little, I said in the other video, I'm a little type A about things. Okay, so this is nuts. Do you see the mirroring that's happening here? Here's our mirror. Here's one side and here's another side. We've got birds on the outer part flanked in. We've got court cards in the middle. We've got mental energy and swift action. We've got emotional energy, emotional landscape and heart. I think this is your person. This is you. And it wouldn't surprise me that the Fool, look at the steps, would be going into the labyrinth of the seed. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. So it really would not surprise me if you've met this person before in other lifetimes. It's almost like you guys are playing tag with each other. It's almost like a joke. Your souls find it funny maybe, but they don't at the same time because of that longing. So Two of Swords in this instance for me is just making decisions from the gut, the instinct, and the heart, not always the head. And so you may feel some indecision. This literally says inner conflict, analysis paralysis with this individual. You want to act, but being in your feelings about doing so. They want it too. I mean, clearly the letter said so, but I feel like there's a risk involved if you do. I am getting that. I mean, especially the swords here are catching my eye at the top. Like I almost see them wanting to come down and pierce the loons. There's outside circumstances. So that does make me think there may be other people in your life right now, someone for you, someone for them, or just other things at stake. Outside circumstances, perhaps some things are outside of your control. Notice how the loons too are moving in opposite directions away. One's moving away from this entrance and the other's moving toward it. I think that's them going this way and you're coming this way. So again, that does make me think that you guys will have some time apart from one another. And this is them, the King of Cups again. The way you see them, perhaps. And it may be a hint if there is a coming together that it won't happen. This is Robert Bly they're showing us. He's older, right? He's more mature. And so it might happen down the road. Because this letter, the hey, the hugs, it felt very youthful, but this is older. Like this is when the ripening happens, the coming together, the union, the discovery of the pearl. Wow, and as I'm saying that, I'm like picturing you guys together. I'm not even going to say what's on my mind because it went there. Yeah, there's a lot of steamy energy here. This is just so unique. You guys are really, really unique. So the Fool is your journey. This is you, getting into that. Oh my gosh, and this might be, you might have gone through something again like that. We talked about the grit. And this is also you just discovering things about yourself, learning things about yourself. This is the labyrinth of your emotions and also this relationship and what that means to you. It might even change how you look at yourself, how you define yourself. There may be a lot of growth that's happening here. There may be times you feel like you're in it alone, as we've got our solo footsteps here. The bear card is so beautiful. Remember your message, though. Remember this letter. This person is interested. This feeling can be, the feeling of being alone can be due to distance, or it can simply feel like every time you're around this person, it's like starting fresh, starting new. They light you up, you feel giddy, and you do the same for them. You guys just kind of like stoke each other's fires here. And I feel like it's also on the mental level. There isn't a mental connection there. Didn't they say something in there about being seen? Like you see them in a way that no one else does? It seems impossible. You might see all their potential. There is obviously something going on here with timing and distance. And so remember, the thing is here, you don't have to wait. Just remember that. You don't have to wait for anybody. I do feel I have to stress that here. Live your life, do your thing, be with other people if things aren't coming together. And if that oyster does turn out to have a big fat pearl for you, then it is yours to claim. And this could also let you know that the person, again, may not emerge until a later point in your life. The Knight of Swords, I think is that a hawk? Cooper's hawk? I can't remember what that is. The Knight of Swords implies wanting to aggressively go for something, and there is a very self-sacrificing feeling here, like throwing yourself onto your own sword, just for the sake of making progress for forward momentum. Like, I'm tired of waiting. I just want this to come. I just want this to happen. Yeah, you want that forward momentum. Just get this over with. This is annoying. This is torturous. But Temperance is the opposite of that. We had Temperance in the last one too. We had the Fool and Temperance. So again, pile 2 maybe for you. Temperance again is, in this instance here, it's all about taking a pause. It's a healing breath. It's the air that expands our lungs, and we hold that in before we exhale. This is that pause that we're living in right here. So this is advising, I think rather strongly, against trying to force something. Instead, just let things be. Be natural. This deck is about, the natural world. And here, look at this emotion flowing between the 2 cups here. This could represent the 2 of you. There's certainly something there on the emotional landscape between you 2. But the advice would be just wait it out for something tangible before you try to reap a harvest that isn't ready. Pause, be still, meditate. Is this something you really want? If there are other people involved, and move on if you need to. You don't need to wait for anybody. The book of essays I was talking about that goes with this, about temperance, they had a good line in it that said, I wrote it down, temperance is not blind abstinence, but a careful and measured response to an unbalanced situation. So just dial down the Knight of Swords energy that you might be feeling here and step into this healing pause that Temperance provides. And I know that sounds contradictory a little bit based off of the letter, the energy of the letter. They were asking you to say something, asking you to do something, like giving them that excuse. But I almost feel like that's going to cause the bloom to fade too quickly. There's some very amazing potential for you guys. If you pause until the time is better for you, for them, especially if there are those external circumstances that are involved, this other stuff going on in life, it will draw them in closer if that is your goal. And as I'm saying that, I'm seeing 2 magnets being pulled together. Because I really do feel like this is something that's going to resist being forced. It will only serve to push things further away, and it will end things, possibly. It's like the magnet poles become the same, north against north, south against south, and that invisible force is pushing the 2 of you apart so that you can never connect. And it could be a while that this person, I know, I'm going to backtrack. Even though they have these feelings of want and longing, perhaps you 2 are soulmates. Well, no, I don't think perhaps. I think you are soulmates. But this time around you decide, maybe it's soul friends. Maybe it's soul family. Maybe you need to put this person in the friend zone. Because there's just this push me, pull you energy that's not, I don't know. You're perfect mirrors of each other. Just look at this. This is so strange the way this turned out. Okay. So I do feel the choice is yours, though, group 3. You make a move or you don't. Yeah, I'm still being drawn back to the Hedith. So I do think that, maybe you two are from the same origin point in the universe, the same star seed family, and I think you two will always weave in and out of the tapestry of one another's lives. Oh my goodness. Okay, hang on. Do you remember, what was it? There was a book and then there was a movie that came out, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Benjamin Button, the character, ages in reverse. He connects with, was it Daisy? Is that the main character? Yeah, that's Cate Blanchett's character for a moment. They're together for an instant. I think that's right. It was a very long time ago when I saw that movie, but perhaps that instant in that moment is where the Fool is headed, right here into the middle of both of you, the sea, the labyrinth. You have a moment and maybe you're meant to go your own way. So maybe it is like that movie, and it's meant to be a beautiful thing for a short time. We're not meant to stay with everybody full term and full time. And sometimes we incarnate and we come here knowing we're learning lessons, from our soul family, friends, soulmates. And that doesn't always mean we're together forever. We can still have a good experience and thank them for that experience. And because my mind's on that movie, there could be, and it has to do with time and aging, right? There may be an age gap here for some of you, and that could be part of what's blocking things, especially group 3 if you're the older one, because the letter came across as very young in many aspects of the language, the hey and hugs, and it would explain why there's this divide kind of feeling, the separation between the two of you. Okay, let's look at the next part, which is past life energies that may be at play here. And so we've got the Emperor. We have got, our past life card here is Vows. And we have the Ten of Swords. Okay. All right, group 3. So, this deck I was talking about, Rust Belt Arcana, it focuses on our natural world, particularly in Western Pennsylvania in the US and the States, along the shores of Lake Erie and through most of our neighbor to the west, Ohio. I say our because I'm in Pennsylvania. And the fish depicted here in this is called a bowfin. And it's a primitive fish, apparently. Very protective, and it's self-sacrificing, which is energies like our Emperor here. And I learned that the male bowfin fertilizes the eggs as the female lays them, and then he chases her off. The male raises the babies, which is really interesting in the world of fish. And also, they talked about people trying to study them, taking the babies off to, aquariums or wherever they study, hatcheries or something, and the babies die without the father. So this energy of parenting and fathers, babies, father figures may play a part of a past life energy here. There may have been something that happened to your own father in a past life. You may have been a daughter who wound up pregnant out of wedlock, and your dad chased off the father of the baby, or perhaps a husband or a lover abandoned you while you had to take care of the kiddos. I don't know if that person, if it's the case of the lover, I don't think it's the same person as the letter writer. It's almost like that was your child. They might have been your child in a past life. Regardless, what happened has had a big impact and continues to do so on this union and then also on your life in general. Because we have vows, this could literally be about, a father in the church, a figure in charge who allows wards under his care. This could be an actual individual that presided over you if you had a past life where you indeed took these vows. Okay, I'm going to actually pull the guidebook out for this. Past Life Oracle Cards Guidebook. And we're going to go to page 97, Vows. Okay. I'm not sure if you can read that or not, if that's in focus, but it says that you drew this card because the vows that you took in prior lifetimes are blocking you in this one. Most likely you were a monk or nun when you made these vows, which still continue to haunt you. Common examples may include a vow of poverty or self-denial, which could block your flow of abundance, a vow of chastity, which can inhibit your romantic or sexual life in the present, or a vow of self-punishment, which can lead you to sabotage or hurt yourself. Unless vows are severed, they can affect you across time. Fortunately, vows are very easy to undo. It's simply a matter of firmly stating, I am willing to sever all vows that are blocking me in this lifetime. I ask that all aspects of painful vows be now and forever undone in all directions of time for everyone concerned. By saying this either aloud or silently, you help to heal the bondage of the past and open yourself up to present-day joy and abundance in all forms. Okay. So you might want to go back, pause the video, and come back to that phrase, or take a screenshot of that little prayer so that you can say it yourself if you're feeling a connection to this. And one of the ways you can tell too is just either if you feel very pulled to the idea of church and religion, or if you're very repulsed by it in certain aspects. That can be a huge hint that you had some kind of past life experience within a religious institution like this. The Ten of Swords is often about utter betrayal and ruin, the end, but we've got friendly vultures here, right? Or turkey vultures. It's also about renewal, ruin, and then renewal. The vows you took at one point in your past life serve to protect you and give you a family, whether, the family around you, the sisters around you, the brothers around you. And it allowed for healing. So we're talking about, sword energy here and here, right? Surgeons cut to heal. But in this lifetime, anything left over from these vows becomes astral debris that's not on the healing end of the blade, but it's on the cutting end of the blade. The impact across time is being felt. And that's interesting because so much of this has to do with time. By severing any form of vows, cutting them out, you may be able to be a bit more centered in this labyrinth space, less dizzy, more grounded in your decision making, more of the temperance energy that we were seeking here. Okay, so let's look at some advice going forward. So don't tell the other groups, but your reading just kept wanting to go and go and go. I know it would be 900 hours and 70 cards, but I had to cut it off at a certain point, so. Okay. This says that my ability to receive is measured by how much I practice good feeling thoughts. I'm just going to move this up here. We have only I know what is appropriate for me. So let's talk about those first. Yeah, so this here feels like it's directly tied back into the vows thing. I'm noticing here too, notice how they're looking down. The hair here almost mirrors the robe covering, and the candle flame in that direction. They're looking down and gazing at this little bird. It almost looks like the same kind of thing. The vows energy to me feels incredibly restrictive. And as I'm picturing that, I'm literally seeing this fist that is squeezing down very tightly to the point that nothing could escape from it. Nothing can get through. And by relaxing this restrictive energy, the fist opens into that open hand, it's receptive, and it's ready. Here you have truth, you have openness, you have honesty, you have receptivity. By stepping into healing, you are automatically becoming more receptive. Your ability to receive is measured by how much I practice good feeling thoughts. The other side to that, and this feels important, is the good feeling thoughts. I feel a connection between this idea and the energy that was coming through in the letter, the energy I felt from your person. Oh my, and I'm feeling it right now in my solar plexus. I do get a feeling from your person's higher self. They want this healing for you. Very much so. And that good feeling thoughts and vibes are a match for the energy that exists within them. They're concerned, but there's this laid back quality to them too. It's just someone who's they're happy, they're chill, but they can also get laser focused on things at the same time, on their goals. And this is a goal for them. They want you to feel happy. They want you to feel good. And that might be, I think their 5D self is kind of saying that might be without them right now. Yeah. The most important thing is to remember is that being centered, grounded into yourself. Yeah, and just being present in that joy, that's the seed for joy right there. Chasing those good feeling thoughts, or not chasing them, but making them, practicing them. And we have to remember though, only you know what's important for you. Only you know what's appropriate. The universe isn't going to come in and make decisions for you on this one. This one's not an easy thing. It's not like, I think one of the readings we just did, we had like the storm card for this, and it's kind of like a tower moment. That's not happening here. Yeah, nobody's going to be coming in and striking a match under you or your person to make things happen. You're in charge of your actions and your choices here, which is kind of nice. You get to decide. So here's what's cool. Ace of Cups. The Sun. This speaks back to that relaxing energy, extending the cup of healing to yourself, and that's what's going to be ushering in joy, true joy. Good feelings, happiness. It's giving you transparency too. The Sun is all about being transparent. It's utter bliss and contentment. And is this feeling going to be with your person? Perhaps. Is it going to be you decide on your own? Perhaps. Is it as really good buddies with your person? Perhaps. Because again, only you know what's appropriate for you. But whatever the outcome, it doesn't matter. You've got their support in the 5D, even if 3D you really like each other. And if things aren't coming together, it's okay. They're letting you know to walk away too. Regardless of the outcome, regardless of what happens, you're happy. There's happiness, there's joy, there's beauty. And here we have true manifestations are powered by service and by love. Look at the open hands. Interesting. Just what we were talking about there. And that even matches the letting go color of the kyanite blue back there. So, more than anything, it's the open palms for me here on this card that's giving me the sign. Especially following our healing Ace of Cups, that things will move, magic happens. Through this healing that you offer to yourself from the vows, from this past life energy, and, possibly more, anything else that you're working on yourself in this lifetime, you may find a calling, actually. This could be about you stepping into something new for you. Something that allows you maybe to even be of service to other people. And yeah, there's a bit more. There's a bit more to this. We're going to come back to that. We're going to circle back around. with the idea of service here, perhaps there is a future connection between you and this person in an occupational aspect or through acts of service to other people too. That's a whole nother thing. It's another spin on what could be happening here. You know, work colleagues or some kind of partnership. And regardless of what this is, because of the Sun card, you're still going to find happiness here. And again, this could go back to the way you actually meet them as well. We talked about possibly meeting them through their work or yours, meeting them through the grit, right? I think the most important thing here is, again, that you are undergoing this shift, right? This opening, this allowing. And again, that brings me back to the magnets. Not chasing, just allowing. And you may find that your person is more available or just more ready at this juncture because you have made more space and you've let go. You know, surrendering, seeing what happens. See how you feel. All right, I wrap this up, of course, and what came out was the riddle. Isn't this perfect? I've got all these hands coming in here. Never begins, never ends. It takes me right back to the seed. It's such a similar feeling. I was really trying to pin down an outcome for you, and they're like, I don't think you can. It's such a similar feeling. The partnership and connection feels very convoluted, but you know, that could be, this whole connection is what I'm talking about, feels convoluted to me. But it could be because we only see it as such. It may take time to take, it just might be time to kind of take your eye off trying to puzzle this out. This is that, you know, I'll let it go. Allow. Just see what happens. Give it breathing room. Give it space. And again, I ended up pulling some extra cards because I was like, what? And what popped up but mirror. The mirror, remember how we talked about like the sides were mirroring each other here? This is just insane. I can't believe this. And we also have the healer. So we've been talking about maybe them being an energy healer. We've been talking about you being a healer. There is definitely something going on here with healing. So, right. I really do think this person is a mirror for you and you're a mirror for them. They're showing you your truths. They're showing you what you're hiding. You may be showing them what they're hiding, and you're showing one another what needs healed. They're a healer, you're a healer. Group 3. I really feel part of this person's purpose here was actually to help facilitate healing within you and to awaken you to the healing abilities within. That is the true seed at the center of the labyrinth. That's your pearl. In terms of connection, yes, there absolutely is one. Yes, there are feelings here. It's up to you how you decide to proceed going forward. And one more thing I had to bring out, and this was a nudge from them, from the 5D self or from spirit. I think I got this in, it was like a workshop with Desiree and Terry Dennis. I think this is from them. I think it's their card. I was in Marquette, Michigan, and it's about laughter. It says, laughter, I will adopt a lighthearted approach in my daily dealings. My sense of humor will keep me afloat while riding the waves of my life's voyage. So we have to remember to keep that laughter going on. Good feeling thoughts. And that was a little thing from them. Like I even hear a little smile, a little coming from them. So that comes with a little hug. All right. So I am so curious as to your situation, Group 3. If you already know this person, if you know what's going on, if you're comfortable, please go ahead and just you could just let us know if this resonates for you in the comment box below. That is what I have for you. Sorry, this went on a little bit longer. Thanks for being here. And if this resonated again, just let me know. in the comment box below and give this video a thumbs up. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss on any other videos that are uploaded. And again, if you found this helpful, entertaining, healing, check out some of my other pick-a-card readings, and please pass this on to any friends who might find this channel beneficial or entertaining or healing as well. So I will see you in the next video, group 3. Thanks for being there with me. Bye. Hey, group 4. Welcome to your message from your soulmate's higher self. If you picked the red heart envelope, then you're in the right place. Before we get going into the letter and the messages, I want to talk a little bit about soulmates. So my belief is that the term soulmate is really referring to anyone who is in your soul family. That can mean a lover, a close friend, a family member, a child, or perhaps even somebody who is watching over you as a spirit guide right now in this lifetime. So this individual that we are going to be introducing you to today, maybe somebody you actually already know, might be with them, might be an acquaintance, or it could be somebody that you have not yet met. And this letter is from their spirit, their soul, their higher self. You may hear me refer to them as your person, as your divine counterpart, or as your soulmate throughout this reading. The writing may sound a bit like their 3D self, mixed in with some words or phrases that sound a bit unique, as channeled messages sometimes do come through that way, from the 5D. Spirit can sound a little bit different in some ways. At least for me, that's how it comes through. So in this reading today, I am going to share the letter that was channeled from your divine counterpart. We are going to look at the general energy and situation that is coming through surrounding your connection, and we will take a look at any past life energies that may be at play, and finally messages or advice going forward. So as this was being channeled, this definitely to me, I think, falls under the category of a soul mate who is in the romance department. So this really felt like somebody who was reflecting back on a long time together with you. So this is definitely a future for many people watching this video. You may already be with this person or not yet, because this does feel like you're together for a very long time. This person felt like someone who doesn't need a lot of words to express themselves, but I think they tried. They really went out for this. They had to say a little bit more than they might normally. They say what they mean, and they mean what they say. But I do also feel that this person would be giving you a lot of love letters. This isn't the only one you would be getting. Their love language might be words of affirmation. You might even just get those little "I love you" throughout the day from this particular person. Yeah. There's a very deep bond here between the two of you. They may not always say things out loud, but you would be getting a lot of notes, emails, cards, texts, letters, whatever. And I feel like they might even be a little bit redundant, but there is just so much heart behind this. This made me so happy. So let's get into your letter. I'm excited. Red heart and red paper. And when I'm doing this work, anytime I do any kind of channeled writing, automatic writing, it's usually really, really messy. My writing looks pretty bad. And so I tend to rewrite this just so you can see what's going on. Hopefully. See what I mean? It's a lot shorter than some of the other ones. Oh my gosh, this paper is huge. So if you want to do a little screenshot, hopefully that's in focus. All right, I'll put it down here as well, if that's better. Okay, so your letter says, and it's going to be a little crooked there, "Darling, I can't help but think it was fate that dropped you into my lap all those years ago. I'd never seen anything so beautiful, so pure. We've weathered the storms together, ups and downs, and there is nobody I'd rather have by my side. You are my queen and irreplaceable. Look at all we've done together and accomplished. I love you. Love from all of us." Now that was unique. This is the first time we actually had a signature on it. This to me is just so sweet. And My first question was, again, who is all of us? So is this a future you, and this is the person is older, and they're signing an anniversary note or a letter from your family? I think probably. I'm getting strong vibes that this letter is happening much further into the future than the other groups. This is like golden years time. You know, it's just this reflection on things that have happened with the two of you and what you've been through. And you know what this is actually reminding me of? If I can share a personal connection here, it honestly brings to mind my grandfather and the way that he loved my grandmother. He was a man of few words. You'd get him on the phone and he'd ask 2.3 questions and tell you he loved you, and he'd pass the phone on to grandma. That was it. Like, here, talk to grandma. But he wrote a lot. He was my pen pal, actually, when I was in college, and we wrote back and forth to each other all the time. And my grandparents didn't always have an easy marriage, but he truly loved her deeply. And when I think of soulmates, group 4, this is it. It's these two. I'm actually being drawn to this right here too. Like, we've got the double crystal here. It's like a little heart from the way I'm looking at it. Grandma eventually passed one September, and Grandpa was gone within a year. He didn't want to be without her. And to me, the energy that's coming through is true soulmate energy. This is a letter from someone who has that similar kind of legacy with you. It's a reflection back on all you've achieved together and how they feel about you, about everything. Darling, pure, beautiful, queen, irreplaceable. You know, all these words describe you. Now, the writer does hint at storms. The thing is, if you're alive and on this planet, you will experience storms. There's just no way around it. Nobody is happy and carefree 24/7. There's going to be losses, there's going to be sorrows, but there will also be profound beauty, creation, and pure joy on the opposite end of the spectrum. So let's get to know your person a little bit more. Are you going to stay? You're going to stay. Okay. We're going to begin with some oracle cards to gain a better understanding of the relationship. And so we have Emerald and Compassion. We have, this is perfect, the Bridge. You go up there. Okay. And we have the Golden Children. Inner child, tenderness, innocence, and rare gifts. Okay. So this to me is super interesting. I see this person as this bridge, or this is you two forming this connection here. You know that song, Bridge Over Troubled Water? I think it's Simon and Garfunkel. That's what this reminds me of, this connection. We have this rainbow light that is permeating the dark, and it's reflecting off of the water. And I hear the words joy in the journey here. It isn't just a destination, but how we live our lives that matters. It's focusing on the little things. This can also hint that at the beginning there might be a bit of distance between the two of you to start, or you may meet when you are at a slightly lower point vibrationally, or just going through some stuff and dealing with things. And this may also signal how you both kind of buoy one another up over the course of your relationship, you know, knowing that you're doing the best you can. You know, if you're having a tough day, then, you know, they're going to be putting in a little bit more. If they're having a hard time, you're putting in a little bit more. And this is the foundation upon which you build your lifetime together. And I'm actually seeing the Four of Wands here, which is that stability and, you know, celebration. It can be marriage as well. That's what was popping in my head. So with the Emerald, we have compassion. And this beautiful green color is the color of the heart chakra. The heart chakra really is the central chakra in our main chakra channel, and it's the bridge between the lower chakras and the upper chakras. The heart chakra is the center of compassion and love and healing. It is associated with this beautiful green color, and it's about how we feel and how we process and also how we let go. There's just open palms here, right? So we're not constricting, we're allowing this to be built between us. It also ties in our minor hand chakras, our palm chakras, and that allows energy to flow from the hearts, out through the hands. So people who are energy healers or perform Reiki or do hands-on healing, this allows them to process and move that energy outward. So you may actually have some healing abilities yourself here, or your person does, and that could be through their writing, because that can also, when I feel the pull to do automatic writing, sometimes my hand will get hot, and I'll have a pen nearby, and I'm supposed to pick that up, and things just start going. So you may be someone who feels your hands heat up, which is a sign of healing abilities, and just again, we're hand to hand, heart to heart here. And the appearance of the emerald really strongly speaks to true love and heart connection, but also compassion may be a quality that links the two of you together. This may be one of those things that really draws this person to you and you to them. You may be a healer, they may be a healer. Golden children. I had to look this one up. So golden child could refer to you being someone who has rare gifts, who incarnates without a lot of karma, or it could also mean that you have overcome a lot in your life, and being with this person is part of working those issues out. The gateway here is making me think back to this bridge. We have that arch that's mirroring that as the foundation of your relationship. And this could also just mean perhaps you have children together. This could be the reference to the, love all of us in the letter. You two making something beautiful together, and you're always working to change and integrate to stabilize and elevate things. So let's go a bit further. I'm going to pull out some tarot cards now and see if we can get any kind of extra information. So we have got the Six of Swords. More water. We have the Devil. We have the Eight of Pentacles. And the Page of Cups. I think I gave you a little extra here. If you watch the first two piles, they didn't have nearly as many cards, I think, as 3 and 4. And then we also have the Sun. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. This is the embroidered forest tarot for those of you who are curious about it. Okay. So this right away is very telling. We have, again, the water that's being reflected here, and the Six of Swords is about leaving behind things that don't serve us, moving on from troubled times. Again, the bridge over troubled water, floating forward, moving on, toward the other bank, toward the other hand here in this card. Your love with this person, I think, keeps you both afloat in troubled times, which is just beautiful. And I think that's, part of the reflection they were talking about in the letter. And we've got the Devil card here also, and the Eight of Pentacles. And so what's interesting about this is that reminder, again, that you've had to weather some storms, that things aren't always going to be simple or easy. We know relationships are work, and you are slowly building something steady together. But there may be times that things happen that aren't fun. Or for some of you, this may be a case of depression, that rears its head up from time to time. I'm almost seeing here, when I see the devil, a lot of times for me, it's about like a tie back to genetics and some inheritance. You know, and we have the links on the chain here, these little beads. And so that can go back to family and ancestry. It could also refer to some kind of event that happens which creates some uncertainty or mental rumination, which will pop up again here and again there, just here and there. But with the Page of Cups here, this shows this particular relationship is healing, as cups are about the emotional landscape. And so to me, the page being a more youthful energy is just running over to provide support and emotional healing for you. And this would be you to your partner, or them providing that support to you. And I think this might be an embroidery hoop, but it might be a mirror. So I think I see it as learning to heal those wounds inside of us so we can be more present and happy in the construction of our new lives. The sun shows us that while we may have these transient devil depressive episodes, or memories that float up, there are also beautiful moments of joy and happiness and wonderful experiences, strong roots and family. Look at that cute little fawn. I think too, if there are any ancestral traumas here, you are careful to shelter your young one from this energy and just shower them with the affection that the sun shares. And obviously with the sun, we have transparency. The sun did pop up in the last card as well, the last reading. So that might be, if you felt drawn to that one, that you might want to pop back into that and check that out as well. And with the transparency, the honesty, there can be healing that happens, right? Letting somebody know, like, I'm not having a good day. This is tough for me. Here's where I'm at. Like, I'm at 20% capacity. Where are you? Can we make room for something else today? Can we let something go so that, I don't have to run around and do 7 different things because I need time. I need to set my boundary here. And to me, this shows this beautiful, supportive, symbiotic, is that the right word? Balanced relationship. All right, so I want to look at past life energies as well. All right, we're going to lay down cards first. So we have here authority figures. The Hermit. This is going to go on your head. The High Priestess. Still want that popping out. That feels important. And I'm feeling tension right now. World card. It's like my throat chakra wants to kind of tighten up a little bit. Yeah, I'm feeling a little anxiety. So okay. Maybe it's this that's triggering this, but I do read for people all over the world. And for those of you who identify as being part of a marginalized group, wherever you are, you may want to jump ahead, as part of the message here may be a little triggering. And that, I think that's what I'm feeling, is like this anxiety, or just, a general kind of squickiness, like kind of squishy about it. I don't, feeling like I maybe don't want to engage entirely. And so if you're in that camp right now, I encourage you to skip ahead. You can go on to the next portion. I recognize this is a soulmate reading, but I have to be transparent, and I want to share the messages that are coming through. And part of this includes the messages here about authority figures, and it may be a little triggering for some people. So this is a heads up. You can skip past this part if you wish. I recommend jumping into the next oracle card section. And again, I'll stick in an extra chapter marker there for you as a marker of where to go next. Okay, so this is your heads up. Go ahead and skip forward if you don't want to stick around for this part. So I'm actually going to go to the guidebook for this for the authority figures here. This is from the Past Life Oracle Cards guidebook. Let's see if we can find this here. Okay. Normally I have it marked out, but okay. So, according to this, authority figures, in your previous and current lifetimes, you followed rules that were set down by authority figures such as parents and teachers. You may have also encountered intimidating or even cruel authority figures in the past. Ugh, that's just pulling on my heart. It's like squishing it. Perhaps you found yourself in the presence of those who are power hungry or abusive. These situations can lead you to fear authority figures and succumb to their will in the present. While it's normal to sometimes be intimidated by powerful individuals, fearing authority figures can lead to unhealthy passivity. For example, you may feel pressured to bow to another's rules without standing up for your own rights, or you may develop conflict phobias in which you negate your own needs in order to avoid arguments and disharmony. Now, here's the thing, we'll get into it, but that's not how everybody responds to these situations. In some cases, this can lead to a form of depression called learned helplessness, in which you don't even try to improve your life. To heal the situation, fill yourself with self-love and self-esteem, and see yourself as being whole and healed. Oftentimes, just remembering past life details will lead to clearing and healing. This kind of makes me want to throw the book across the room. Okay, so some of what's said there is obviously going to resonate for some of you because this is a general reading, and for others it won't. So let's talk about what this also could look like. I do feel this authority figure's energy can be at play in this relationship, which may be impacting your feelings and attitudes, and in turn, this relationship with your person. So it may look like getting triggered by authority, that you fall into one of those like fight, flight, freeze, or fawn responses. Isn't there flop also too? I'm not sure. But that's when your sympathetic nervous system gets activated. So the book describes some of the responses more on like the freezing or maybe perhaps fawning a little bit, but it didn't get to everything. You may find yourself actually in the fight category. Like I'm feeling more of that kind of energy that's coming in. And actually, honestly, I just jumped up here and I see page, but with that little extra sticking down there, I read it as rage. So you may find that you're somebody who's donning that armor and you're ready to go to battle. And it just depends on who you are and what your circumstances are and where you are in the world. So it's important to note here too that this energy, and this to me is the important part, it's really important to stress this, it is not just past life. These feelings can be brought up because of your experiences in this lifetime. And we'd be remiss not to talk about that. So, as someone who regularly reads about past lives in my healing sessions, I find there is often, most of the time, an overlap between the past life and then also your current experiences in some way, shape, or form. It's really interesting how that happens. Past lives can color our current experiences and expectations in big or small ways. Sometimes people get past life regressions. I've never had one. It sounds interesting. And those can really help people understand their current feelings. I think there was even something on Lifetime. They might do something like that. I don't get cable, but on YouTube they have like a couple videos about it. It's like really interesting. But, doing that can help understand and make sense of some of our current feelings or habits that we have that are a little unusual. But it's likely a small number of us who have had those done before. And some people get into therapy to help us understand, like, why is our coworker or our boss like driving us nuts all the time? But we have to remember here the experience of authority can be very, very different beyond understanding a generalized dislike for it. It can have very deep roots in trauma. So I caution here against relying too heavily on putting all these energies here into the neat shoebox of a past life. To me, that's spiritual bypassing. It doesn't address what's going on presently. And I recognize too that not everybody has the luxury of examining these roots because of the circumstances and situations that people are dealing with in this current lifetime. those may be due to injustices or inequalities that are widespread and systemic, experienced by those in, say, the BIPOC or LGBTQ communities, or the experience of others all over the planet, where interaction with authority figures is vastly different. It's a vastly different experience than those who are born of privilege. And authority can also just mean power. Who's in power. It doesn't mean a good thing necessarily. So I did feel I had to kind of put that little, I had to talk about this. Examining the roots of feelings towards authority figures may not be something that you particularly want to dive into. And that's totally understandable. It could be something that is traumatic or re-traumatizing for you. Please use your discretion here. Only you know what's right for you. You sit in sovereignty on the throne of your own heart. You wear your crown, and you will make the decision that is right for you. So bottom line here is that there are many factors that can color our experiences and feelings surrounding authority figures, right? The strongest roots, we have to remember, would likely be in our current lifetimes and experiences, but there still is that chance. There is an influence of past lives which could be coloring our current view of the world, in addition to what we're currently experiencing. So I probably said that a lot longer than I needed to, but I'm sure there's a more concise way to express that. But let's talk about what's happening around the authority figures here. We've got the Hermit, the High Priestess, and then the World card. So the Hermit, to me, ties into that idea they were talking about in the Book of Learned Helplessness. That's more of like the, the phrasing response, or, I don't know, fawning perhaps, or flopping, like just going back and hiding. It's that need to not be as visible, to withdraw, not to have so many eyes on you. And you may find too that you spend time alternating between hiding or wanting to fight injustices. To be a bit of a rebel only to retreat to safety to recharge your batteries is needed. And I looked this up because I'm like, is this a cute little pumpkin with eyes? Like, what is this? It's so cute. And I thought maybe it was a fox, and I looked it up in the guidebook for the Embroidered Forest Tarot. It says this is a Eurasian lynx. And it was interesting to read about it and how they are kind of solitary creatures. And what stood out to me is that they purr to comfort themselves. And, I was just kind of thinking, when we withdraw, sometimes, we find that way to comfort ourselves. Especially in these kinds of instances, you might be withdrawing because it's almost like a battle wound. There's a scar there. There's something that, needs attention. And so that idea of purring was just kind of coming in. So it's like you just, doing what you need to do and comforting yourself. I think scientists all try to figure out, why do cats purr? And it's not just because they're happy. It's sometimes like they've been hurt. And, it might be just a form of comfort. So this withdrawing energy, could say a lot about, being triggered around authority figures, or because of some kind of judgment regarding that, or some kind of interaction that's going on. It could be for a lot of different things. And there's a lot of ways that we can get triggered. But with the High Priestess, this is about using your own inner guidance, your intuition, trusting your gut, and knowing that you have the capacity inside yourself to heal, to move forward, and trusting that you know what's important and necessary for you. Again, using your discernment, using your discretion, trusting yourself, letting in the people that you need to, but you can also say no when something doesn't suit you. Yeah. And you'll know who that is and when that is. And again, that ties back into this lynx being hermity here. Self-care isn't taking a bath all the time, a bubble bath. Not everyone even has access to that. Self-care is about boundaries and speaking up when you need to, and saying no when you are tired. And chasing on the heels of that is the World card, which is the idea that you can integrate whatever's happening here, like your lessons, the healing that needs to be done. And I think you can move beyond the major grasp that any part of this past life energy may be holding over you. And this in turn will only strengthen your relationship with your person. And I do think it's important during this time too. I'm looking at the shapes, kind of mirroring the bridge here, even with the moon that's right there, to keep that communication open. And this healing, obviously, it's not just going to strengthen that relationship, but the relationship with yourself, which is so important, more important. So dealing with the past life experience may be appropriate in some cases, but it doesn't fix, obviously, what's happening here for our friends who are in marginalized communities. And we have to keep in mind, too, we don't want to spiritually bypass and ignore what's happening in our world, because that doesn't solve anything. That doesn't help anyone. Okay, so that's it for that. Moving on. Sorry, that got a little heavy. We're going to look at any advice that we have for going forward with this. So I will never get there, so I will enjoy my journey. It's okay, it's not what it sounds like. There's a little more joy to it than that. Oh my goodness. What? The soul connection crystal lovers. Hee hee. It's happening. We're connected. I love that. Okay, let's just look at those two for now. So this is the energy about not hanging on to an outcome, but rather just enjoying the journey, as we originally got with that bridge card. That was one of the first phrases that popped into my head, was the joys in the journey. So here this person's walking along the path. They're smiling, they're enjoying the views, the sights. Not everything is always going to be sunshine and roses, as we kind of just dug into some of the harder stuff, or poppies here in this case, but there's beauty. And I do think you two have a legacy to make together. And I think that is pretty obvious with this, the soul connection crystal lovers. You know, these crystals are joined from the same source. That's you and your person. You're cut from the same cloth, and you will have a wonderful connection that goes beyond initial attraction and outer appearance. This is soul deep. It doesn't matter if you know each other for a few days or longer than that before you get together. You are meant to leave a legacy together. Okay. Next we have the Magician and the Two of Wands. Lovely. All right, group 4. So this is you harnessing your magic. It's harnessing your choices. It's harnessing your power, and it's going forward with your life and your plans. It's saying yes. It's embracing the partnership and the magic that follows. Yeah, so even though they're going to be troubled waters, there's troubled times here and there, there's maybe some digging that you have to do to unearth some things, or that could be your partner or both of your experiences. There's just a whole lot of good stuff that's around all of this. Nothing can knock you two guys, you guys down. You are, I feel like your foundation, it's unshakable. Because we wind up here with the Castle card. And I think of this in this instance as you two building everything together. Your home is your castle. Your family, as we saw with the Sun card here. Your legacy. You are the movers, you are the magic makers, and even if there are those bumps in the road, as there inevitably are in life, group 4, you are going to make something beautiful that stands the test of time. All right, so that's what I have for you, group 4. Thanks so much for being here with me today. And if this resonated for you, please let me know what did in the comments section below, and give this video a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any other videos. If you found this helpful, check out some of my other pick a card readings, and please pass this on to any friends who might find this channel beneficial or entertaining or healing. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, group 4.